In this video, we're going to go over everything that happened before Diablo 1 actually begins. We're going to be starting with the Eternal Conflict, then into the Sin War, and then the Dark Exile and the creation of the Haradrim. The Eternal Conflict. Since the beginning, light and darkness engaged in an eternal war called the Eternal Conflict, each vying for power to hold sway over all creation. One side of this conflict were the angels of the high heavens, warriors led by the Aegirus Council of archangels who believed that only absolute order could govern the realms. On the other, the demonic denizens of the burning hells led by the primevals Diablo, Baal, and Mephisto, who claimed that darkness and chaos were at the center of all things. Yet, despite the length and sheer magnitude of the battles between these factions, neither could gain dominion over the other for long. The Archangel Inarius, exhausted by the endless conflict between the heavens and hells, sought to create a peaceful world devoid of the strife that had consumed both realms for so long. To this end, he joined forces with the demoness Lilith, daughter of hatred, and gathered renegade angels and demons sympathetic to their cause to create a mortal realm of sanctuary. Inarius utilized the World Stone, a powerful artifact that had long been fought over by both factions, to conceal sanctuary from the prying eyes of heaven and hell. The dissonant angels and demons of Sanctuary gave birth to the forefathers of humanity, the Nephilim. When it was found that the power of these entities could eclipse that of their progenitors, some were concerned that their strength might draw the attention of the high heavens and the burning hells. When Inarius left to contemplate this revelation in solitude, Lilith, fearing the safety of her children, rampaged through Sanctuary and butchered every angel and demon residing in the realm. Inarius was forced to banish her to the void, and tampered with the World Stone to curtail the power of the Nephilim. Each generation grew weaker, their lifespan diminishing over time until they fully transformed into a race of mortals with little knowledge of their forebears. The Sin Wars. For a time, mankind led a peaceful existence in Sanctuary, but, as with all good things, such was not to last. The Lord of the Burning Hells unearthed the mortal realm that had been hidden from them, enkindling the great sin power. This struggle saw Inarius pitted against the forces of hell, each attempting to subtly coerce and manipulate the humans to their respective sides. Both vied for control over mankind, the demons seeking to banish the mortal denizens of Sanctuary as weapons in the eternal conflict, while Inarius sought to keep control of the perfect world he had created. To influence humanity, the prime evils of the burning hells founded the Temple of the Triune. This cult was comprised of three branches devoted unbeknownst to the mortals to alter egos of the primevals: Mephis, Dialon, and Bala. The Triune slowly and subtly seduced humanity to the side of sin, growing in number as the decades passed and the influence of the primevals went unchecked. In an attempt to offset the Triune's growing power, Inarius adopted the guise of the Prophet and created the Cathedral of Light to preach the tenets of the high heavens. This stalemate between light and dark continued in Sanctuary as it had in heaven and hell. Both the Triune and the Cathedral of Light spread their respective gospels throughout the lands and amassed swathes of believers until their game of chess was upset by the return of humanity's first mother, Lilith. Lilith weakened the inhibitions put upon the World Stone by Inarius, allowing the Nephilim to regain their former power. She then manipulated a farmer, Yuldissian, into weaponizing the reawakened Nephilim abilities. Yuldissian led his fellow Nephilim to revolt against the Triune and the Cathedral of Light, further manipulating the World Stone to amplify the Nephilim's otherworldly power and drawing the attention of the high heavens to Sanctuary in doing so. A triplicate war broke out, ending only when Inarius banished Lilith to the void once more, and Yuldissian realized that the unchecked Nephilim could spell doom for all of Sanctuary. He sacrificed himself to once more suppress the power of the World Stone, divesting his fellow Nephilim and their regained abilities in the process. Following Yuldissian's sacrifice, the Aegirus Council and Mephisto convened to decide the fate of Sanctuary. Both sides of the Sin War came to an eventual agreement. In exchange for Inarius' eternal imprisonment in the burning hells by Mephisto, heaven and hell would refrain from interfering in the affairs of Sanctuary and would allow humanity's future generations to walk the path of light or dark to their own unbiased accord. Thus, mankind's memories of the Sin War and of the demons and angels that had once walked among them were erased, and the entire affair faded quietly into history. The Dark Exile and the Horadrim. The agreement Mephisto had made with the Aegirus Council drew the ire of the four lesser evils of the Burning Hells, who began to question the authority of the Primevals. They believed the three to be unfit to continue the fight against the high heavens, and began an uprising that consumed all of hell. The lesser evils emerged victorious and exiled the primevals to the mortal realm. Mephisto, Diablo, and Baal swept through Sanctuary, ravaging eastern lands for decades and leaving immense suffering and chaos in their wake. Their presence was eventually noticed by Tyrael, the Archangel of Justice. To combat the primevals, Tyrael formed the Horadrim, a faction of powerful mages who devoted themselves to the destruction of the Demon Lords. The Horadrim pursued the three throughout Sanctuary, armed with soul stones fashioned out of the world stone shards by Tyrael. They were capable of imprisoning the primevals. The Horadrim succeeded in capturing two of the three demon lords within the Soul Stone and locked them away. After a lengthy pursuit, Jared Kane and his fellow Horadrim sealed the last of the three primevals, Diablo, and hid his Soul Stone beneath Tristram's Cathedral. With the threat of the primevals no longer looming over the land and the duty entrusted to them by Tyrael accomplished, the Horadrim slowly faded away. Once more, the people of Sanctuary knew peace. So this is all the information you need leading in to what I will be doing, which is playing through each campaign. I'll be putting out VoDs that I've just shortened down for you guys to be able to watch on YouTube, so you don't have to watch a 3-hour VoD. But I'll just be playing straight through each one of the games.